Alright, we got a real easy one today. This is the Hubsan H122D Storm, and this little guy has a problem with the props flying off. I've got three of them. One was a demo model, and then one I got from Banggood, and the other one Hubsan sent me as a later production model. And both of the early and later production models that I got have this issue. At least I think it's a later model. I don't know, but the prop comes off all as one. It's not the screw coming loose and the prop just flying off. You've got this collar. It's a threaded collar that's a compressed fit over top of the shaft. Some people call it a boss. I call it a collar, but it just compressed fits, push and slides right down over top of the shaft. And then you take the prop and you screw that into the shaft. And what's happening is it just completely slides up off that shaft and then takes off and flies away. So the good thing is the screw's still intact with the boss. As long as you can find that prop, you'll have all your parts. So there's really no loss other than prop flies off and you wreck. So if you're watching this video, you've probably stumbled across it because you searched for prop problems or prop issues with the Hubsan H122D. So I'm going to show you what a member in my group, or a few members in my group, the Hubsan H122D Storm group on Facebook, suggested, and I tried it on my other one and on another prop on this one, and so far it's held up perfectly fine. And what that is it's using Loctite. You can probably do just fine by using the medium strength. The last repairs I did, I used the heavy strength, the high strength, but I don't see why this won't work as well. The Loctite dries and holds on very well, so I think medium strength, if that's what you have, I think that would be perfectly fine. And that's what I'm going to put on here today. So let's put a little drop here, or a lot, and get a toothpick. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my other props as well, just to be safe. But all you're doing is just putting a little bit around the top edge, and then when you put that boss back on, it will slide down and lock it in place. And Loctite typically dries in about 15 minutes. I recommend just give it about 30 minutes dry time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my prop back on as one piece. That way I don't get any thread lock up in the screw. I don't think you want it up in the screw. This is tricky little. Magnetized screws are good sometimes and sometimes they're not. But thread it back together. Okay, so now I have the boss back in there with the screw, all is one. I've got my thread lock on the shaft. Now I'm just going to put this back on the shaft and press it down. And then from there just wait for it to dry. And like I said, about 30 minutes should be perfectly fine. And following this, I'll show a video. I'll add a video into the clip of the other one that I fixed using the high strength. And before, I couldn't even idle. I would idle for about a minute and that prop would just fly off. So the one that I fixed, it hasn't flown off yet, and it's got about 10 flights on it. This one was doing it I think did like 3 flights, and then all of a sudden this prop flew off. So the previous one on this one that I did, it's been holding up just fine, and seems to be a good solution. So if you have the Hubsan H122D and you're having an issue with the props flying off, just get you some Loctite, medium strength or high strength, and put a little bit on the tip of the shaft like I did, and slide that prop back on it, and give it 30-minute set time, and you should be perfectly good.